Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. I am doing just great. So this is a little bit of an update on two of the guitars that I'm working on right now for other people before I end up having to take off for a week. So what I got going on here is some good news and some bad news. Good news is both bodies are pretty much stripped down to bare wood. Although this one I still have to do the sides on it, but this one here is pretty much all I gotta do is just sand this part off on the horn area, and that's about it. Everything else has been pretty much sanded. And this is pretty much ready for some grain filler, although the grain filler that I ordered is not the grain filler that they sent. So they sent me this aqua coat, which is a high performance clear wood grain filler, new and approved. Yeah, this is for basically putting on top of wood that you are not painting. Okay, this is trying to enhance the wood that's already there. This is a gel, which works really nice as far as what I've seen, but the one that I should have gotten was the one that's made for cabinets and stuff. This way I could paint over it. This is, you're not supposed to paint over it. This, you basically dye it or add some type of dye to it and spread it on, and you can kind of like stain the wood, or stain the wood first then add this to it. And yeah, this is the wrong stuff, although I'm not going to send it back because I will probably use this for other projects that I'm not going to paint. Now this body here, I kind of looked into a lot more. I thought maybe there was a cap on the top of this to give it this nice look and stuff. Now when I started going through and sanding it, I found that this is two pieces of wood. All right, here's the seam right here, which they missed when they put the strap lock on. They missed the center. And if you look at the top and the sides, and you kind of look at the way that the wood goes into each other, the wood grain, they match. So this is one piece of wood, not a cap. But when I look over here, I kind of see that there is different grain going another direction. But when I look in some of these other places over here, I don't see that, and I don't see that around the edges at all. This is pretty much the same grain throughout. And this has a cream color binding, so I'm hoping that the binding doesn't get in the way of what the owner wants as far as the artwork goes on there. So hopefully that'll work out pretty good. I know that what he sent me as far as the artwork goes does have a binding around the edges, but it's more white. I mean, I could replace this binding with no problems, but that's up to the owner if he wants me to do that, to go put a solid white binding on here. That's up to him. Bad news. This guitar belongs to a friend of mine that I did the McMar Star guitar. Now this guitar has a lot of sentimental value, and the problem with this right now is I really don't want to tell the owner the bad news about this body, and it kind of bothers me to have to tell him about this bad news. So I plucked out the tunematic bridge sleeves and the tailpiece sleeves, and noticed that there's kind of a gap here. So when I started looking at this more, I started looking at the inside of the pocket for the pickup cavity over here, and if I could zoom in on you for this, so you can see that there's a big open space here. Well, there's a big open space here and here and here. Now when I pluck the sleeves out of this, zoom back out a little bit. Oops, sorry, wrong way. When I pulled the sleeves out of this, there was black electrical tape around the sleeves. So that's telling me that these sleeves were kind of loose and they weren't fitted in to the wood pretty much at all. Okay. The space that's between the top of this and the actual body itself, now this body is plywood. Somehow, some way, this body got wet. And how I know is because of the way that the wood is stained here, right here, over here. There are marks of like water kind of flowing down into there. And there are also marks of water that traveled throughout the inside of this body a little bit. Now, there is a cap on this. This does have a cap, so this is the cap part here, but it's also plywood. So if you look closely around the edges of here, you can kind of see some of that plywood coming through, unless it is a veneer that's on top of a piece of wood over here. But from what I can see, well, it may be a veneer, it may not be a veneer. So this body was white at one time. It's showing a lot of remnants of white that was under the blue. And with the watermarks here, that's telling me that somebody wet sanded the white paint that was on here. Maybe in order to paint the blue paint that's on here now, or was on here now. But that goes all the way through here, all the way to the neck pickup. It's split open. And if I try to push down on this, it will, if I try to push down on this, you can hear cracking in the top. This is all swollen over here. Not so much over here, but it is back here really bad. And it comes out all the way back here, because when you look at the control area, it's all open. It's all open back here. I could take a piece of paper or sandpaper or something. What do I have over here that I can stick inside there? There. Here's a fold up piece of sticky note, and I could stick it pretty far inside there, and that's not good. Now if I can get it back out. Also over here, as you can see, that hole is covered now with the paper. That hole is covered now with the paper. This one, and so on. And then I could take this piece of paper and slide it through to the other side. So to the owner of what to do with this, I need to know, because I don't think I can actually build this as a guitar. I don't even think if I push in some type of wood glue, because it's not, it's very dirty and dusty inside there. And if I try to put wood glue inside there, it may not adhere to the wood. Trying to blow this out may not get all the dust out of it. And the biggest problem is how arched this is right now. And I thought maybe, well, this is, you know, probably an arched top body. And no, this was flat. At one point in time, this was a flat top. I do have, however, another Les Paul body that I can replace this with. But the sentimental value of this is, I don't want that to be lost. So to the owner of this one here, let me know what you want to do. Like I said, I'm going to be having to take off for about a week, and I don't know exactly when I will be back, but I do want to get a couple of videos in before I leave. So I'll be leaving tomorrow. So you guys take it easy, have a good one. I will catch up with you all later, and hopefully we get this figured out. I mean, you can kind of hear solid here, hollows out over here. Now you guys take it easy, have a good one. I will catch up with you all later.